You believe money avoids you because of circumstance, because of the economy, because of opportunity. It does not. What you are experiencing is a pattern that operates before money ever enters your life. A pattern that determines whether money stays or quietly withdraws. And until you see this mechanism clearly, you will continue repeating the same cycle, no matter how much you earn. If you value understanding the structure behind your own mind, subscribe. These conversations are not isolated, they build. You have noticed something, though you rarely articulate it. There are moments, brief, almost invisible, where your behavior shifts. You receive money, and something subtle changes, not externally, internally. A tightening, a hesitation, a quiet calculation that feels like control, but is not. You tell yourself you are being responsible, but underneath that, there is friction. A resistance to holding, a discomfort with maintaining, and without realizing it, you begin to act in ways that relieve that tension. You spend slightly faster, you justify slightly more, you delay decisions that would stabilize what you have. Not dramatically, just enough. And the result is predictable. Money leaves. You think this is lack of discipline. It is not. Discipline operates at the level of action. This pattern exists before action. It operates in the field of mental relation. And this is where most people fail to look. You assume money is something external that you acquire, but your experience of money is not external. It is a mental condition. This is not philosophy, it is structure. As stated in the foundational principle is clear. The all is mind, the universe is mental. Which means your relationship to anything, including money, is governed by mental laws before material ones. Now observe carefully. When money enters your life, it does not simply exist as numbers. It triggers associations, memory, belief, expectation, and more importantly, identity. Here is the first tension. You believe you want more money, but your internal identity may not be structured to hold it. So when money appears, there is conflict, not conscious, structural. You begin to experience thoughts like, I shouldn't get too comfortable. This might not last. I need to use this before something happens. These thoughts are not random. They are signals. They reveal a deeper mechanism. But even this is not the full structure. There is something deeper that most people never examine. Money does not move randomly. It follows patterns of mental vibration, not mystical, mechanical. Every thought you repeat becomes a mental current. Every emotional reaction reinforces that current. And over time, these currents form a stable pattern, a field. And within that field, certain outcomes become probable. You are not attracting money in a magical sense. You are reproducing conditions that either sustain it or release it. Consider this. If your dominant mental state around money is tension, then holding money increases tension, and the mind seeks equilibrium. So it acts subtly to remove the source of tension, which in this case is the money itself. So money leaves, not because you lack effort, but because your internal system cannot stabilize its presence. This is why some people earn repeatedly, but never accumulate. The external inflow exists, but the internal structure rejects permanence. And here is where the misunderstanding becomes dangerous. You attempt to fix the outcome. You try to earn more, work harder, find better opportunities, but you are adjusting the input, while the mechanism remains unchanged. So the pattern repeats. Different numbers, same result. If this is helping you see your own patterns more clearly, subscribe. These ideas only become useful through repetition. Now we go deeper. Because awareness alone does not dissolve this. You may now recognize the pattern. You may even observe your thoughts in real time, but still, nothing changes. Why? Because the mechanism is not purely cognitive. It is habitual. Your mind has been trained through repetition to respond to money in a specific way, and habits do not dissolve through understanding. They dissolve through replacement. This is where Atkinson's principle becomes precise. Thought is not passive. It is active force. As stated in E, thought waves reproduce themselves and influence conditions, which means your repeated internal reactions are not neutral. They are generative. So when you repeatedly associate money with instability, you reinforce instability, not symbolically, functionally. Now observe another layer. There are moments when you consider long-term decisions, saving, investing, building, and something interrupts. A quiet voice. Later. Not now. Once things are better. This is not procrastination. It is avoidance. Because long-term stability requires a stable internal identity. And if that identity is not present, the mind delays. You remain in motion, but not in direction. And so money flows through you, but never builds within your life. Now consider the consequence. If this pattern continues, it does not merely affect your finances. It shapes your entire trajectory. You will experience cycles, moments of progress, followed by quiet regression, not dramatic enough to alarm you, but consistent enough to define your life. You will begin to believe this is just how things are, but it is not. It is how your structure operates, and over time this becomes identity. Not, I am building wealth, but I am someone who almost does. That is the real cost. Now we return to the law. Money does not respond to effort alone. It responds to consistency of mental state. If your internal condition fluctuates, your financial condition will mirror it. If your internal state cannot tolerate accumulation, accumulation will not persist. This is not punishment. It is correspondence. So what is required? Not motivation, not intensity, not temporary discipline. Repositioning. You must begin to observe, not your actions, but your micro-reactions. The instant money enters your awareness. What do you feel? What do you assume? What do you expect to happen next? That moment contains the entire pattern. And instead of reacting automatically, you interrupt, not with force, with direction. You replace instability with steadiness, not through belief, through repetition. You train your mind to remain unchanged in the presence of money. No tension, no urgency, no quiet need to release it. This is not about thinking positively. It is about removing inconsistency, because consistency is what allows accumulation, and accumulation is what changes outcomes. Now the final tension resolves. You believed your problem was money. It was not. You believed your problem was discipline. It was not. Your problem was structural, a misalignment between your internal state and the condition you were trying to maintain. And once you see this, you cannot unsee it. Because now every financial outcome reveals its cause. Not outside, inside. Most people attempt to control their actions. Few ever examine what is controlling their attention. If this made sense to you, if you recognized yourself in this pattern, leave a comment. I will prosper more in 2026. Not as a wish, but as a declaration that you are beginning to observe the structure, and once observed, it can no longer operate in the same way.